right, so welcome everyone to Over 40 Living Epic Lives Facebook group. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to those of you who have been inviting your friends. We really appreciate it. And so today we have an awesome speaker lined up for you, Dr. Bhatnagar. You're going to love him. He's also known as Dr. Batman. He has a great sense of humor. All right, so before I bring him out, I have some slides I'd like to share with you. And before I do, let me know if you can hear me in the comments below. If you'll type a 1, let me know if you can hear me. And here we go. Let's get out of here. All right. So one more thing I need to do is stop my video. Okay, so welcome to Over 40 Living Epic Lives Facebook group. And so today we're going to talk with Dr. Nitin Bhatnagar. So our topic is From Chaos to Calm. We surveyed a few of you, and the overwhelming majority right now are saying that they could really use help with this category, just changing from chaos to calm. So some of you we talked to, your thoughts are really scattered right now. Some of you feel like you're juggling too many things, and there are some of you that are taking care of everyone else and putting yourself last. And then there's some of you that you're going through a change of careers, or maybe you lost your career. And there's a few of you who are starting something new. So no matter what your category is that you fit in, something near one of these, we know you're going to enjoy today's talk. So let me give you a little backstory on myself and why I started this group. In 1998, I was a producer and host of a mind and body health and fitness TV show. I ran that for 3 years. In 2001, I founded an award-winning mind and body boot camp, and I sold that after 10 years. In 2009, I co-founded a wellness company, and I ran that for 10 years. In 2009, I was diagnosed with advanced arthritis, and I was told I needed both knees replaced. So in 2010, I started aerial training in my 40s. I now perform and teach in aerial, and I've been doing that for over 10 years. Now, all that sounds fine and dandy, but what you don't know is 3 years ago, I lost my career and a long-term boyfriend. And I allowed myself to feel stuck for a very long time. I went into quite a bit of a downward spiral. I went on a mission to find the best mentors, experts, and leaders in their industries. I applied what I learned, and my life transformed. Losing everything was a blessing and a spark plug. I started 2 new businesses, I wrote a book, and I'm developing a course. So my point in telling you all of this, it's never too late to have your epic encore. It's never too late to turn things around. And that is why this group is called Over 40 Living Epic Lives. So now for Dr. Nintin, let us know right now, everyone that's watching, let us know if you're watching live or on replay. So just drop a comment in the box down below. And also throughout this talk today, for the next hour, let us know when you have a question. So just a reminder, there is about a 15-second delay. Dr. Nitin Bhatnagar and I are on Zoom, and Paula, our producer, is on Facebook reading your questions, and she'll let us know as the questions come in. So get those questions ready for him. All right, so now I would love to introduce you to Dr. Nitin Bhatnagar. So Dr. Bhatnagar bridges the worlds of traditional and non-traditional medicine and healing arts. He's a practicing general invasive cardiologist for the last 15 years. He's a physician for the last 20 years. He's a life architect and metaphysician. He's also a mind, body, spirit scientist and intuitive cardiologist. He is also CrossFit adult and kids coach, as well as a nutrition coach. He is an energetic medicine healer. He integrates the mind, body, and spirit to help people achieve their full potential and become more empowered by raising consciousness. He's an author, medical, and metaphysician teacher, energetic medicine healer, inspirational speaker, and polymath. Wow, I can't wait for you guys to meet him officially. All right, so let me exit out of my screen here. And now I'm going to come on camera, and Dr. Bhatnagar, if you'll do the same. All right, so welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's great to have you here. Okay, so it's not every day that you meet a medical doctor, a cardiologist, who is also a metaphysician. So, can you tell us, how did you get into this industry? And you have so many things on your biography. I'm intrigued by all of them, but I'd love to hear how you married the two, being a metaphysician and a cardiologist. So, how did you start
Sure.
that?
So I've wanted to be a physician since my father's a cardiologist. So I wanted to be a physician since about the age of about 2. Since I was roaming around the house with a stethoscope, my little friends, when they were about 3, would come. I would like to listen. I would have them lie down and listen to their heart, and this was my dream my entire life. I wanted to be a cardiologist, and everything I did was geared towards becoming a physician and eventually the cardiologist. But now I became a cardiologist, and in everyday practice, it just became a drudgery at some point. And I'm just handing out pills every day, doing procedures on people every day. And I was grateful for what I was doing. I was happy with what I was doing, but there was some part of me that kept on saying that there's more.
Mm.
There's more to just handing out pills and injections and whatnot, and setting up procedures and doing them. There is a time and place for all of that,
Sure.
absolutely. But what else was there? And that's when I started exploring the other arts. Started to explore, but first I was so down and negative and frustrated and irritable that became unhealthy. I was weirdly overweight. I did not exercise. I would just tell people, hey, you should exercise and, change your diet. Me, on the other hand, I'm stuffing my face with a donut and I'm not exercising and sitting on the couch and watching TV when I get home because I'm too exhausted, tired, mentally broken, as it were, from the day. And at some point, something just shifted. And it's like, there's more than me living negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I was inspired to go and help people, it became a chore. So I started investigating. I started doing more of my inner shadow work. And the more and more I started releasing, the more and more I started meditating. Then I started exploring all different kinds of healers, right? From
Yeah.
other energy healers, shamans, other meditators. Then kept on reading and reading and reading works of a variety of people, studying the ancient classics, and meeting wonderful people, for example, like Dr. John D. Martini,
Yes.
it just kept on snowballing. And eventually, what ended up happening was, in meditation, I was having more and more awakenings.
Oh, wow.
And then these awakenings were happening even in daytime, yeah, or even nighttime, even if I wasn't asleep. And they were very powerful, poised and centered moments of, and the best way I can describe it as downloads
Wow.
of what else was going on in the universe, a greater vista of exploration. So I
Yes.
started going back into tuning in with, as it were, guides, right? Your own higher frequencies of yourself,
Yes.
and understanding a better and greater vision. And the more and more kept on honing in that vision of what my purpose would be. And it ended up becoming that, not to necessarily say debunk cardiology or medicine,
Sure.
but and not just go off and go into the etheric arts, but marriage the two,
Mm-hmm.
bring them two together for a beautiful union, to be able to teach people how to be able to raise consciousness, be able to explore the wisdom of their body, to be able to use their mind in a very creative way, become more empowered,
Yes.
and understand what their body is trying to tell them, so that they can now heal themselves. Because otherwise, until that happens, we're all going to be um, stuck with and being subordinated to whatever the pharmacia, or the academia or the medical community, whatever they tell you you have to do.
Right.
You don't have to do anything. And going back into seeing what the wisdom was, even before modern medicine came along, what did they do? Then I studied the history of medicine and kept on going back and back and back, and having a greater awareness, and then bring everything together. And here I am.
Wow, that's so awesome. I bet your patients are so intrigued every time they talk to you because I know you have totally different conversations with them than other doctors might be having with them. That's
Yes,
really cool.
indeed.
Yes, yes.
Indeed.
And I do want to let the viewers know you have an amazing Facebook page and you often talk about your patients and you'll talk about your interactions. And then you start writing these such eloquent posts that I think we all have you convinced now you need to turn these posts into a book. And they're just so beautifully written. So I encourage everyone, we'll have his name spelled out at the end, and please go follow him. You'll love what he has going on. Okay,
Thank you.
so you are so welcome. So let's talk about today's topic in particular. So right now, 2020, it's been kind of a crazy year to say the least. And many people are trying to find that inner sense of calm in difficult situations. And throughout our lives, we're always going to have good and bad. There's always going to be, positive and negative. However, this year just seems a little more, a little more of the hurricane happening. So, how does one find calmness? How does one change chaos into calm? What would be some of the few steps you would advise us to do?
So let's start off with what's the definition of chaos? Right.
Hmm.
So chaos essentially is, when you're looking at it's the formless material before time and space. And in that, it's the birthing of creation of the universe. If you look at the definition of um, chaos itself, it comes from the original Latin of chasm,
Hmm.
essentially the infinite void. And
Yeah,
so when eventually that births the universe, it births true matter, right? It's a very powerful feeling. So we are trying to, especially in 2020, we've been trying to run away from the chaos, right? We're trying to go towards a level of calm, right? But let's break that up a little bit more. We're looking for this refuge from the turbulence, right? As we're trying to transition. But in the end, what it is truly a transition, isn't it?
it is.
It's not that you're trying to reach calm, because if you look at a pendulum, you are going from chaos all the way to calm.
Hmm.
It's the opposite. But you don't want to really reach calm. You
Hmm.
want to reach the center point. When we're trying to reach calm, we've totally missed the whole center point of balance. And that center point of balance is actually love,
Yes.
seen through the lens of gratitude. So I would actually advocate is don't try to run away from chaos, and don't try to run away and don't try to run in towards the arms of calm. So if you take a look and see, when you look at a hurricane, right, you've got all this apparent chaos, but right in the center there is calm. If you see a meditator, somebody who's trying to just simply meditate, they may pretend that they are calm. They've got this outward appearance that they're calm, right? But inward, they may be suffering through chaos.
Yes.
Look at an air traffic controller, right? The air traffic controller has to deal with complete chaos. If you look at their screen, I'm a pilot as well, so dealing with these air traffic controllers, it's beautiful, because these people have such amazing focus, amazing presence, and they've got very certainty.
Hmm.
They'll tell me, turn right, turn south, so and so degrees. I'll ask again, turn right, so and so degrees. We're not having a discussion about this. This is what you need to do.
Yes.
Right. They're taking my fear, my chaos, and bringing into their calm.
Hmm.
But in the end, it is simply just a pendulum swing. Same beautiful example I would say was, let's say in a cardiac arrest, you're in the whether an emergency room or on the floor of the hospital or in the ICU, whatever the case is, and you've got a barrage of people who just jump into the scene. One's taking care of airway, one's taking care of this, putting an IV, get this drug, check the pulse, check this, all this kind of stuff. But in the end, you've got one person who is trying to run the show.
Yeah.
They're the code coordinators, and
Yes.
they're trying to coordinate the show. But in the end, if you see the beautiful flow, there is a calmness that goes on. Everybody has to remain calm and be able to perform,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
So, these are just look at the human body. The human body, we think it functions, but we take everything for granted. But
Yes.
if you carefully look at all our windy cells as they flow around, and all the cellular reactions and the cytokine storms that are going on to keep build and destroy in um, in a balance, right? They're still maintaining calm, but yet the true balance is when everything is in state of love. So I would advocate that we don't try to run away from the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
See how that chaos is being able to serve us,
Mm-hmm.
and don't try to run away to calm, because you're going to end up attracting something else in its stead, right? I mean,
Yes.
I was contemplating on this when I was driving this afternoon, and I realized that, okay, I just looked at my day, and I realized all I've done is essentially gone from different bandwidths or frequencies of calm to chaos, back to
Mm-hmm.
calm, back to chaos. But yet, in each moment while that was happening, I was grateful for my experience,
Yes.
and therefore I was maintaining balance,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore I was loving what I was doing and staying inspired.
Yes.
So that's one thing that I would suggest, is that truly understanding the concept of chaos. I will use the example of um, doing the laundry. I love doing laundry. It,
Uh-huh.
it, it, it is absolutely, for me, it is meditative. And
Uh-huh.
here's why. So wife will put in, let's say, or I'll put in, several loads of laundry, and maybe like 6 loads have been done.
Mm-hmm.
But now they sit in about 8 baskets waiting to be folded. Now, either I can find the calm by doing a load a day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Versus doing all at once and making a big hoopla about it. Or I can do the entire hoopla in one go,
Yeah.
but being very present and mindful about when I'm doing the laundry.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm being mindful and doing the laundry and folding it, I can either take that opportunity and realize this is the universe shifting gears for me and allowing me to stand present, and while I'm doing the laundry, and do nothing except that laundry, but be able to control my breath, and be able to, or not even control my breath, just witness it and be able to do the laundry. Or I can become mindless, and just not think of anything. Or I can listen to an audio podcast, or I can listen to some gentle music, or whatever it is I would like to do, just something to fulfill my soul. So I've gone from the chaos of the laundry to the calmness of, this is what I'm going to do, and the smoothness, as opposed to multiple bumps, just
Yeah.
do one load at a time,
Yeah.
but be able to do it with presence.
I love that. I love
And
that.
people say, well, it's all chaotic or it's all calm, but it's not the case. That's a polarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have both. And the best example is we do this on a daily basis, constantly, and that example is going to go pee. So, you've been holding on to your pee. You've drank a whole bottle of water, and you really got to go to the bathroom. And
Uh-huh.
someone's in there. You're knocking on the door. You're doing the little pee pee dance, and the chaos, right? All these emotions are coming on, and all these triggers are happening. What if I wet myself? What if someone sees me? What if I make an accident? What if anything, right? A number of these things are going through our heads. It's the chaos. But when we actually go to the potty, whether you're sitting or standing, you're simply, you take a breath,
Mm-hmm.
you witness what's going on, because there's really nothing you can do. You allow, and in that pause and in that breath and in that allowing, automatically your body takes over, because it has the natural wisdom, and
Yes.
then it flows. And after you flow, what do you have? Gratitude.
So true. So
So
true.
and then afterwards, you just love everybody around you, don't you? If you've gone to a restaurant and you're going to go pee, and now you come back to your restaurant, now you're engaged with everybody and you're excited and you want to talk to everybody,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
because you're now back in state of love.
Yes. That's awesome.
So, this is something to contemplate on, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but in the end, we sometimes try to chase away from that chaos, yet not realizing that the chaos is that beautiful excitement. It's the stirring up. It,
Yes.
it, it is the synthesis of all kinds of ideas. It
Mhm.
is the creativity that is going to be given birth. And
Yeah.
then the calmness, which is the opposite side, which we are chasing, is simply just a shift of gears for us to be able to accommodate that time and
Yes.
to be able to understand what we're going to do next. But
Yes.
neither state is sustainable. Somebody who's a meditator cannot stay calm all day long.
Right.
You try. I challenge people to try it even for 5 minutes, to try to stay completely calm, because your mind gets evoked with all kinds of things. But
Yes.
and then you go, and then if too many thoughts come in, it becomes chaotic.
Yes.
You
Yes.
just swung the pendulum the other way.
Right. I love it. Let me invite everyone to start sending in your questions. So, just a reminder to type your questions in the comments down below. And also let us know if you're watching live or on replay. And let us know where you're coming in from. I'm coming in from California. And Dr. Bhatnagar, where are you at today?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Awesome. Very cool. So I wanted to, and Paula, our producer, is from LA as well. I wanted to touch upon something you mentioned. So as we're feeling ourselves feeling this state of chaos, basically we just need to take inventory, kind of take it step by step. What am I feeling? How is this serving me? What are the benefits in this moment? What can I learn from this moment? Those kinds of things. Is that right?
True.
Okay.
Right. So, but the biggest thing is pause. That's the biggest thing one can do, is simply first pause. The the child has spilt over that glass of milk. Unless it's an emergency, right? Even that pause can be very quick, but
Mhm.
to be able to react. But
Yes.
I'm trying to say is not reacting, is actually replying. So the difference is that when you pause, you're able to just take that breath, and then,
Yes.
you're breathing into that moment. And as you breathe into that moment, you witness that moment. And
Awesome.
as you witness that moment, you allow, you accept, you embrace.
Hmm.
And while this is happening, there's a beautiful transmission that ends up happening, because then what also occurs is that you then start to feel the moment.
Yes.
And it's in that feeling of that moment, as you're breathing life and the embers of your fire are being stoked, you become alive, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you are able to witness what your emotional triggers are. And that's what you talked about earlier, right? The good and the bad. You
Hmm.
can then start saying, well, is this, do I have this? Is this a good thing for me? What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks? And you try to balance it out. But if we too quickly run to balancing things out, we miss the beauty of all the other aspects of this. You
Mm,
miss
I like
you
that.
miss being able to experience of the bandwidths.
Yes.
We were given chaos as a feeling. We were given calm as a feeling. If we were not to be given it, why and experience it and use it, why would we have it?
Right.
Essentially,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what happens is that when you are able to then reply, not react, you're able to truly then open up yourself with certainty, presence, and then poise.
Yes.
And when that hope happens with gratitude, you start opening up your heart. And the
Yes.
beauty is that when that heart truly opens, the resonance that occurs is so expansive that
Yes.
it not only encompasses your chaos, but it encompasses anything and everything.
Yes. Yes. Um, I want to touch upon something, and we have a question. And right after we touch upon this subject, we'll answer that question. And I do want to give a shout out to Janice in Colorado, Kat in California, Nancy in Massachusetts. All right. So you mentioned having gratitude. So I know the benefits of gratitude, and we hear it often, but can you go a little deeper on the metaphysical side? What gratitude does in this sense of chaos, but maybe more importantly, what gratitude does for our body and all those around us, how it affects
Absolutely.
that way. Yeah.
Sure. So, from the cardiology aspect of it, right? We see patients and we investigate. The first that we look at is their heart rate and the blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and look at their breath and the respiratory rate and so on. And we know that when all these parameters are out of whack, in some fashion, will cause coronary disease, hypertension, diabetes, their cholesterol, plaque buildup, stroke, all these kind of things when they're going in a state of chaos. But it's actually not just chaos, it's the swinging from chaos to calm, back and forth. That is also injury to the blood vessels.
Yes.
And When we are, when we are in a state of that sense of balance, we're not causing that injury to the technical term is the endovascular, which is basically mean the lining of the blood vessels.
Mm.
And we're not disrupting our hormones. So gratitude is very potent because it gives that balanced state.
Yes.
And therefore the hormones come in balance, the cells come in regulation, the blood flow is more adequate, the blood pressure comes down, the heart rate is stabilized, the breathing is stabilized.
Mm-hmm.
And so to your second part of the question about the other aspect of it in terms of the gratitude is that when you see somebody in a state of gratitude, they also open up their heart
Mm-hmm.
because they're now sent. So to borrow a phrase, it's certain. There are six healing pillars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the enthusiasm and inspiration of the body, the certainty and presence of the heart. Sorry, certainty and presence of the mind, and love and gratitude of the heart.
Ah,
So
wow.
these are your six transcendental feelings,
Yes.
and these are part of your healing pillars.
Yes.
So when you're loving, so when you've got certainty and presence of your mind, you allow enthusiasm and inspiration of the body, and you've got your love and gratitude of the heart, and that opens up. That being, that person is who you would resonate with, and you sense that sense of gratitude in all the aspects of when you're dealing with them. So
Yes.
it resonates outward.
That's right.
But
Wow.
the other thing is, it's not just with the person who you're talking to. Somebody who is grateful, it resonates to all parts of their life.
Yes.
Because when you're grateful, you are able to now exercise better. You're
Right.
grateful for your body, you're grateful for your cells, you're grateful for your muscles and your tissues and your brain and all your organs. And now you're able to, in that spirit, go and do your exercise. And for me, it's CrossFit.
Yeah.
So when I'm in grateful state and when I start my warm up, I'm absolutely in gratitude for my opportunity to be able to do this and do something good for myself.
Yes. I
And
love
then
that.
my workout is lovely. But the days
Yeah.
when I come highly imbalanced, charged up, upset, frustrated, I've
Mm-hmm.
fallen out of my state of gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
my workout is completely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Ergo, so does my eating habit, because then I'm now going to shoot for something sugary or
Mm-hmm.
something high carb or something high fat because
Mm.
I'm not in the presence. But when you're in gratitude, your mind gets stabilized, your physical gets stabilized, your spiritual gets stabilized. When you're grateful for your debt and you're grateful for the money that you're receiving, you're grateful for your service you're providing, your income goes up.
That's
Right?
right.
When you're in gratitude for your social situation and your friends and your relationships, all those parameters go up. When you're grateful for your family, they also bloom and blossom.
Yes.
So it's not just when you're grateful for yourself, you're grateful and to the next person, it resonates to the next person. It resonates in all aspects of your life.
That's right. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Okay, we have two questions. So, Paula, I'm going to let you come on out and let us know what the first question is.
Okay. Hi, Dr. Bhatnagar.
Okay.
Our first question is from Kat. And I have to say, she had typed this question while you were talking about 5 minutes ago. So, thinking back to what you were talking about at that time, what she asked was, what if you are in the midst of immense pain? Are you supposed to do the same thing?
Yes. So pain and pleasure, this is my perception, where pain and pleasure are electrical are perceptions, but essentially are electrical charges within the brain that are going off. So if you are able to pause, and by the way, this entire process that I told you about earlier, which was the pausing, the witnessing, breathing, feeling, and so on, are all, they can happen within a split second. They don't require few more minutes and to do all this. It happens instantaneously. So when you're in pain, feel the pain. Where are you feeling it? Right. But pause, break that circuit, because that circuit is pain. I'm in trouble. I'm scared. I'm shrinking. I'm gravitating down, and everything hurts. My life is falling apart. You see, it just expands out. So
Yes.
just break that cycle right there and then. Pause. Then breathe. Witness the pain. Feel the pain. And in some fashion, you can even ask, what is it trying to tell you?
Yes.
Because when your physiology is out of balance, when your psychology is out of balance, your physiology takes over to remind you what's going on. And when you're having pain, it could be any kind of pain. It could be an emotional pain that's now manifesting as a physical form with chest pain. We see this in cardiology. It's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, where people have such intense emotional pain that the heart architecture changes and heart function goes from normal 20%. Their entire, I know when you look at their heart, Takotsubo means octopus pot, and their heart actually starts looking like an octopus pot. The term Takotsubo is a Japanese term meaning octopus pot. And the heart itself changes. But yet, when they finally become poised and present and they deal with their stress and so on, the heart rebounds most of the time back to normal shape. So you have a direct link between mind to body and then body to mind. And so the intense pain. Now let's say, for example, Kat, if the pain is, you just stub your toe and you've got you just drop something on it, right? You may have broken it, but it's hurting, it's blistering. Well, the presence of mind would be first put some ice on it and do the simple things that you would normally do. However, but if you pause, you can actually breathe through it and not have the pain. Now you're very able to witness what you are to do with that foot. And I've actually witnessed this where people have broken their foot and whatnot. You calm their breathing down. You do, and I've done this actually, where you've been able to maintain the eye contact. The person was having so much of pain. The eye contact, make them breathe with you. Pause, and suddenly you could see their heart rates were high, their blood pressure was up, and suddenly all those parameters came down, and the pain. Nothing. We didn't do anything about the actual injury at that very moment, but their pain perception vanished.
Yes.
Wow.
But pleasure and pain essentially constantly playing with the electrical charges in your brain.
Amazing. All right. Well, let's hope that helped Kat. We also have another question from Janice. And she says that, you use your guides and intuition in treating your patients. Can you share a story or two about this?
Lovely. So the intuition is, I do that. I do that on a regular basis. Is that I just simply become very present with the patient. So, give you the example I had yesterday. A patient was complaining of chest pain off and on. We've already done all the cardiac workup. It's all been negative, and we've been ordering various tests, and we did all the cardiology stuff. Yeah. All right. But when I was looking at the patient, I became very present, and the whole entire room just literally just expanded outwards. Time just suddenly started to expand, and it was just me and that person in that room. And I started not listening to my gut. I was just listening to my heart. There's a big difference there. There's the gut's giving you more of an instinctual response of what's going on, and the heart's going to give you a more it's a more radiant response, and you can feel it in your body. And that's exactly what happened. And I felt it, and my intuition kept on guiding me, as it were, to explore deeper in what's going on in their family life. And we did that. And and it was just very interesting, as in that conversation, I started just pinning various things of traumas, relationship issues, and they had never told me anything about this stuff in the past. So I had no written record in their family history about all these things. Wow. And they were totally shocked. They were very surprised. How did you know this? And it was not me being, I don't have any psychic abilities or anything like that. All right. It was them becoming fully present with me, and I was being fully present with them. I opened my heart out. I allowed them to come into my energetic fields, expanding that out, because I was grateful and inspired to be able to do what I love doing.
Yes.
They came into that field and they opened their heart, and now we started going down the quest of what was going on in the past. And simply we started exploring more and more of the deeper issues. You see, the whole idea is to allow love to bloom, right? And uproot the weeds of fear, judgment, and other mindsets. Mm-hmm. So that's exactly what we did. When we got present, we opened our hearts, we were able to find those fears and judgments. And so now I gave her the tools to be able to now uproot those and then move forward.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right. We did have the one who you helped earlier, Kat. She says that that does make sense. Thank you very much. And we just want to also say hello to Kim, who is joining us from New York today. And back to you, Cheryl.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. So, Dr. Bhatnagar, I want to touch upon, you've mentioned a couple times coming back to love. So I want to talk more about that. And Paula, you can turn yours off now. Let's see. Okay. So tell us what it means to come back to love, because there are some in this group that aren't really familiar with Dr. Demartini's. I've heard him say this often about neutralizing the situation and bringing it back to love. So can you kind of explain that to everyone for us?
Sure.
Yeah.
So when we have a polarity of thought, right, we only see one side of the situation. So the example I will give you is, let's say if you're infatuated with somebody, right, you're conscious of the upsides and conscious of the downsides. But if you're resentful of somebody, you're conscious of the downsides, but unconscious of the upsides. But yet when you see both sides of the polarities, right, you go into balance. But if you just simply see that there is just balance, right, yeah, and neutrality, you can lead to indifference. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
True balance is being able to seeing both sides of the equation and being grateful for that person, for example, exactly as they are, without any desire to change them.
Yes.
That's the state of unconditional love. We say that sometimes that we love our children, right? Oh, I love my child unconditionally. But yet the moment they do something to irritate me, I've fallen out of that state. So therefore, that's really a conditional love.
Yes.
True conditional love stems from being able to, regardless, being able, of course, no one's saying don't punish or be stern or whatever, right? But being able to have that response, that is the true state of unconditional love.
Yes.
But it's a frequency, it's a resonance that one would feel.
Yes.
But while that's the case, yes, you can see both sides of the argument. You're able to open up your heart. You're able to witness that person for who they are.
Yes.
But the magic of the moment is that when we do fall out and it's at the conditional love, well, you know what? I love you as long as you're going to, clean up the table.
Right.
But unfortunately, that now comes from something that's even deeper within us. The hurt that we provide somebody else, and this has been a learning for me, the hurt that you provide somebody else is because of the hurt that you have not been able to heal within yourself.
Can you repeat that?
What did I just say? The hurt that you provide somebody else is because of the wound that you have not healed within yourself.
Yep.
So it is until I have true self-love, I can't really do that true unconditional love for somebody else.
Yes.
Because it will be only a short moment, and then I will fall out of it. But the true state of unconditional love is by seeing all your shadows, by clearing up your shadows, seeing the gifts within the shadows, and then rising to the higher frequency that's beyond that. It's known as the siddhi.
The city?
The siddhi.
Yes.
True light, true knowledge,
Yes.
true enlightenment.
Yes.
But and then you embrace that into your life, and now you witness people through those states, and those are very high frequency states that most of us are not able to handle, because usually we're staying stuck in the shadow.
Yes. Love
But
it.
the beauty is, as we transition from the shadow and we go into our gift and we go into our siddhi, okay? If you see, the seed goes into the flower and then eventually bears the fruit. But yet, what does the fruit hold? It holds the seed yet again. So that within your light, you will still have the seed of darkness that's there, because it has to be able to be blossomed and bloomed.
Yes. Wow.
We talk about the chaos and the calm. Look at what nature does. What do bison do when there's a storm? They don't hang around and move away from the storm. They go into the storm.
Oh, wow.
And the reason is because the faster they go into the storm, the shorter amount of time that they actually have to spend in the storm.
Wow.
So even nature understands this idea that you've got a polarity, you've got the swing happening,
Mhm.
go into it, face the challenge, deal with what's going on. 2020 has been a great year in all kinds of accounts. Yes, for some people, if you look at the polarity and saying, "Well, I lost my job," okay, but what can you do
Yes.
in that time? Can you spend time with your family that you've not been able to do?
Mhm.
And I can tell you, for me, because my schedule changed earlier in the March April time period, we were doing all these televisits. I would come back home a little earlier.
Mhm.
I could spend time with my kids. So yes, salary dropped,
Mhm.
but yet I was able to spend time with the kids. It was
Yes.
just transformed.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had the time to be able to sit and write. I able to have to more meditate. I had to contemplate. If you look at nature, due to 2020, we ended up the streets are cleaner, the
Yes.
air is less polluted, the water is purer,
Mhm.
the fog is cleared. We didn't have all these flying and all these airplanes traveling around, and the cars. My commute, which is an hour, now it takes 30 minutes
Oh, wow. Yeah.
because I don't have all the traffic.
Yes. Yep.
So when we came out of lockdown, when I was seeing more and more people, I was actually getting more chaotic. I was like, no, I don't want all these people. I want them back, go back inside. But you see my point. I'm being flippant about it. But you see
Yeah.
my point.
Yeah.
Was that if you can either be polarized and see what the problems were,
Mhm.
or you can reply back to the universe when saying, okay, here's my challenge, and here's what I'm going to do to respond to it,
Yes. Yeah.
not reacting to it.
Yes. Yes. Um, So I want to give everyone a reminder. We've got about 15 more minutes. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type those in for us. And any questions you might have in regards to chaos to calm, maybe some things you've been dealing with this year, and you would love some insight, Dr. Bhatnagar is your man. And also, let us know in the comments if you haven't done so already. Let us know if you are coming in live or on replay. All right, so there is one thing that I want to circle back on that you mentioned a moment ago. As far as meditation, and many, many years ago, meditation was this thing where people thought you're going to, it was for people who were going to sit with towels on their head and sway side to side and have incense going. So it has become more and more mainstream, and I actually highly recommend it to a lot of my clients. So can you tell us a little bit more how does one use meditation? And let's use the person that is like, meditation, what is that? I'm not going to sit still. I can't get my mind to shut down. I want to talk to that person right now. So can you give that type of personality some advice right now?
Sure.
Okay.
I would invite them to explore that. How is their life feeling in that moment? Because there are people who thrive on chaos.
Mhm.
They're adrenaline junkies. If you look at a stuntman, all right, and you tell that stuntman to, yes, you can teach that stuntman how to meditate, right, and become more poised and present, so they can learn how to be able to focus their mind, right. But in all honesty, if what they need at that very moment is the drive to be able to get that adrenaline going, get that, they don't have to have the chaos like, oh my God, what's going to happen if I jump into this fire on my motorcycle, right? As the cameras are watching. But if they are going to do something that's chaotic, but yet be mindful about how they're doing it, so that's going to make their performance even better.
Yeah.
But there are some people, let's say NASCAR drivers and so on, you would look and think, well, that's total chaos. They're totally running on adrenaline. Okay, fine, that's great, but they need that adrenaline.
Mhm.
So chaos, I would not ask them to step out and do meditation at that very moment. But I would ask the person who you just described, is there anything in their life that they wish to change?
Mhm.
You have to have a need to want to go do the meditation, right? You have to create a value of of that meditation. If
Mhm.
somebody is perfectly content with their life the way it is, then why are we forcing our ideas onto them to go and meditate?
Right.
But if they say, you know what, my life is pretty chaotic, and I like it exactly the way it is, and I don't want to change even a single thing about it. That means they're actually truly inside of themselves grateful for their life in some fashion. But
Yeah.
yet the person who says, yes, you know what, my life is chaotic, but yeah, you know what, I can't rationalize my thoughts when I want to sit down with my children.
Mm, yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's now creating a value. Now, can I teach you how to meditate so you can now become more present? So therefore, in meditation, so therefore you can now use that to your kids. But the person might say, but I'm perfectly okay being chaotic thoughts at my job because my job is a chaotic thing and I need to have that be able to in the chaos.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to establish that need. And one would be is saying, well, is everything in your life, right? Everything, right? The polarity.
Yes.
But is everything in your life exactly the way you wish to be it to be? Do
Yes.
you want anything to change? Would you like some time to be able to exercise, be more present when you're exercising? Would you like some more time to be able to explore, reading, learning more? Or are you perfectly content? If they're perfectly content, they'll continue because they, in some form, in some fashion, are meditating. I know a doctor. This guy, brilliant mind. All right, brilliant mind. But everybody says he's got ADHD because
Uh-huh.
he can't. If you tell him about meditation, I talk to him often, and I tell him about meditation, and he goes, "Yeah, whatever," you know. But here's the thing: what does he do? His hobby is to make metal and make carpentry. So he's a cardiologist, and his hobby on the side is to do carpentry and to do welding. But in that moment, he is so calm and he is present, he is poised, he is certain. That for him is the meditation.
Mm.
So I can try to tell him, do it my way and sit and, with a towel and, meditate. But he's going to say, no. But his form of meditation is different,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which brings you to what you were saying earlier about how do you meditate, right? So I had a lovely conversation with somebody who said it's impossible to sit and meditate. I cannot sit there and meditate. My mind is too scattered. I can't think. I said, okay, well, firstly, the odds are, if you poll people, you can't actually quieten your mind for more than 30 seconds at a time.
Wow.
Even if you could do 10 seconds at a time, it's your great achievement there.
Uh-huh.
But if you're able to practice a little bit by little bit every day to becoming a little bit more present and more certain, and you then are able to then practice that just like a muscle,
Yes.
and you're going to be able to do it. And you expand. So I tell people do 30 seconds a day, then go to 30 seconds twice a day, then maybe do that for a month, and then go to a minute, 1 minute a day, and then build it up. And then as you start getting better, you can then actually ramp it up to almost like you don't have to wait for like years and eons to do this. You can then start doing it at 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, even at a time.
Yes. I like that. Um, so how, let's say someone watching here, they've never meditated before. And maybe they are the person that is just like, this is, I can't sit down for any length of time. But so let's say it's their first time. How would you suggest someone get started meditating? So we mentioned the timeline, but should they go to YouTube and type in one of those beautiful meditation music options? Or should they go through a guided meditation? Again, you can go on YouTube and type in guided meditation and someone will talk you through it. So do you have suggestions on how to get started?
Absolutely. So I think guided meditation is a good idea for somebody who's got that chaotic mind just to follow through along. However, I will tell you that I know plenty of people who with very chaotic minds who will sit down and listen to that guided meditation, and within the first 60 seconds, they get up and walk away. They're like, I can't hear somebody keep talking. There are those people who will listen to music and then they become so infatuated with the music. And then they go to this, oh, I'm all bliss and I am all this and I am all that. I am tranquil. And then 10 seconds later, something happens. Boom, they're out of that phase. They're triggered and they're super hot headed and angry. Okay.
Mhm.
I know this because I've been through those too. So I prefer the idea of following your breath
Mm,
because the breath essentially is energy,
mhm.
and you simply follow your breath without judgment. You sit there and you're quiet, sit on a sofa, sit on a table, stand up and do it at a traffic light, while walking, That's the beautiful thing about the breath, because it's always with you. That's the beautiful thing about meditation, is that you don't have to sit somewhere or be somewhere to do it. Meditation is a state of being that's with you at all times.
Yes.
And when you're doing that, when you end up following through the energy, right? Simply just witness at that moment what your breath is doing. Witness the energy, feel that breath, stretch it, let it pump it, let it fall, let it rise, love it, trust it,
Mm-hmm.
listen to it. Your breath is trying to tell you something in its process, right? You soften it, you befriend it, to the breath, which is the energy, and
Yes.
you allow it to explore. When we are, if you typically remember the whole concept of the sigh, right? You've got to
Yeah.
that sigh, that long sigh. If you keep an eye on the ratio of your own breath, inspiration and expiration, you might very well find that on a regular basis you have a longer expiration than inspiration.
Mm.
That's because in some fashion you're resentful, depressed, anxious, worried, and you've got a longer out breath. But there may be times where you're excited, you're infatuated, you're thinking about somebody, you've got some project coming along, and you're all excited about it, and your inspiration gets longer. Right, that's where the word inspiration comes from. Right,
Yeah.
so your inspiration versus your expiration, the ratio is different. Longer inspiration, shorter expiration.
Mm.
But either state is not balanced. It is one-on-one, which is the balanced state. That's the time when you open things up. So when you're meditating, you have all these ideas, you have all these thoughts. If you've ever heard of Vipassana meditation, for example, where you have all these thoughts, but you simply just witness the thought. Don't react to it, because the moment you react to it, now you're creating another charge.
Right.
So simply just witness the thought, witness the feeling. Oh, okay, I've got to take care of so and so. All right, okay, thank you for that thought, but I'm
Yes.
going to come back to my breath.
Yes.
Oh, I have to read that book. I didn't get a chance to read that book. Okay, all right. I saw that, witnessed it, come back to my breath. Whatever the thoughts are, just witness them, allow them, don't engage with them, thank them if you have to, but go back to your breath. Just bring the attention back to your breath.
Yes. I
And the
like.
more and more you do this, the more and more you stay resident with that, one would eventually go into, and then whatever is coming into your thoughts, right? At some point, when you're done with your meditation, 30 seconds later, you you can jot them down and say, well, okay, these thoughts came up. Why did they come up at this point?
Yeah.
What's the trigger behind them? And you explore the shadow work. You should go into that inner work, and you see what's going on.
Yes.
But in the end, it's that eventually the more and more shadow you clean up, the more and more you go back into one-to-one.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
one-to-one is what you're trying to get to.
Wow. I love that. I love that. We have Summer who's joining us from Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us, Summer. Um, I want to ask one last question, unless anyone has a question. And again, everyone who is watching, if you're just joining us, let us know if you're watching live or on replay. And also let us know some of the takeaways, something you've enjoyed so far in this talk. We would really appreciate it. Just mention that in the comments down below. So, you mentioned something a moment ago of how some people thrive in chaos. Now, I want to take a different angle. I think all of us know someone who it seems like every time we chat with them, their life is just like, wow, just crazy, crazy, crazy all year long. There's always some dramatic event, situation, something's falling apart all the time. What advice, if someone like that came into your office and wanted some, help of any sort, what advice would you give them? What is in their psyche? What is in their genes, so to speak, that causes this year after year, day after day?
So what causes it is, so their outward chaos is really a projection of their inward chaos. So it is in exploring what that inward chaos is how one would begin to unwrap what's really going on.
Mhm.
I've heard plenty from people saying, well, I keep attracting the bad, saying that bad guy always in my bad boyfriend, bad ex-husbands, it just goes on and on and on. It's always just that bad, bad, bad. Well, you're maybe perhaps not looking at it in a complete fashion, seeing what is it that you're really attracting, right? What parts of you that you're not willing to own,
Mm.
what parts of you that you have disowned that are now being reflected back in somebody else, right? Why are my children always behaving like this? I just can't deal with it anymore. Okay, well, what are they expressing that you've been repressing?
Mm.
What shadow did you have to not explore? What have you not yet to explore in that shadow
Yes.
that that came from your own childhood,
Yes.
right? So so same kind of ideas, finding what exactly where's that light in the darkness,
Mhm.
to only discover that once you have seen that light, there's another yet darkness that's still inside, and that's why it's a shadow, right? When you're at noon position, right, on high noon, the light's all around you. There is no shadow because you're certain, you're poised, you're present, and you're in a state of gratitude. But the moment 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, you've got a shadow. You're slightly off,
Yes.
right? 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you've got more shadow. And the further you are from that center, you've got more and more of a shadow. But it's by cleaning up those shadows, that's what you do. And so you simply begin the unwrapping process by allowing them to pause,
Mhm.
breathe into what their feelings are, explore what their feelings are, and witness what's really going on. And then begin to unwrap and unpack all these various things. And that may take time, may take lots of sessions, may take quick sessions, depending upon what the trigger is.
Mhm.
So that's why, it's not always the situation where I loved our title, right?
Yeah.
Turning calm into turning chaos into calm. But as I began in meditation and in contemplation, rather, I started understanding this a little better. I discovered it was really more of finding the calm within the chaos.
Mm. Yes. Yes.
And that came to me today. It was like it's finding the calm within the chaos, finding the seed within that fruit,
Mhm.
because that in the end begins the mystery of the universe.
Mm. Yes.
Well, is there really all these little tiny subatomic particles inside an atom, or is the entire solar system simply an atom
Yes.
inside a much bigger universe?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is the seed, and which is the calm, which is the chaos, which is the seed, which is the fruit? It's all fully interlinked, and the center point in all of this is love, because that is the frequency and the energy that birthed both calm and chaos.
Mm. Yes. Yes.
But it is love that births both.
Love it. Oh my gosh.
So don't go between both polarities. It's the center of the balance.
Oh my gosh. Love it. Love it. We have a couple of takeaways I want to share with you. Kat's takeaway: to pause and breathe and explore why she's experiencing migraines instead of feeling punished. That was really good. Paula's takeaway: I pay so much more attention to my breathing while I'm walking. I love knowing that I can turn this into my meditation. Yeah, that was a really good tip. Janice's takeaway: what are they expressing that I'm suppressing? Awesome question to myself. She says, thank you for that. That's a really good one.
My pleasure. Can
Yes,
I just interject one quick thing? Kat,
please.
you said something about the headache and the punishment. All
Mm,
right. So why do you feel that you're being punished?
mm,
Right. Why not see the headache as an opportunity of your body, as a feedback mechanism to help you understand and explore the headache? And what does it have to tell you? What is the message in that headache? What is the content?
mhm.
So the headache is simply a feedback mechanism. So if you're actually more grateful for the headache, you start becoming grateful. Thank you, body, for giving me this symptom to be able to now explore something deeper. I am ready. Tell me, what is it that I wish to explore? Guide me to be able to explore what it is that lies within the depths.
Yes,
So that becomes now feedback. The pain starts going away because now your unconscious mind is saying, okay, Kat's listening. Let's tell her what's going on. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the signs around you. Pay attention to everything that goes around you.
Yes.
And then you start moving forward.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You definitely have taught us today to be so much more self-aware. And that is something a lot of people just check out, just mentally check out all day long through different scenarios. And so we can just check back in, assess the situation, breathe, think it through, acknowledge the feelings. Everything's going to be all right. Yeah. Let's see. Kat says thank you. She heard your question. She says thank you.
You're welcome, Kat.
Yes. So are there any last, anything you want to add to what you've said today? My goodness, there's so many great jewels that you've shared with us.
The thing I would like to explore is simply, and to unpack it just a little until and perhaps the next time,
Yeah.
is to to see where does chaos come from.
Mm.
And if you try to truly understand where that is, it's essentially clinging on to your outcome. And and this is my perception of it, the more we cling to the outcome, right, we're creating these illusionary anchors,
Mhm.
and we don't allow ourselves the chance to be able to be free to fly.
Free to fry.
Oh, sorry, fly. Gee,
I was like, I like
Mike, hang on. No. The mic got in the way. Free to fly.
Well, you have so many great one-liners. I was like, maybe this is a new one-liner. Free to fly. I love it.
Correct.
Yes. Keep going.
Because I would say is that in the end, who are we without our illusionary anchors, right? Do we dare to let go of those illusionary anchors? Do we dare to stop the clinging to the outcome? Whether it's the outcome of what my child is going to become, where am I going to go get money from? How am I going to get my health back together again?
Yes.
That is one of the few things that one we can do is that going off that. And this was a big one for me to discover over these years, and it's still something that we fall into, and I fall into certainly, and I have to catch myself. All right, I'm clinging on to the outcome. Where did that come from? Where was that trigger that made me think of the outcome? Let go. There's something very beautiful about surrender versus submission, and there's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful difference. Surrender is to truly let go and connect with everything that is. Submission is a lower frequency where we are now beholden to somebody else or something else, some event, some experience, some memory. It's a lower frequency, but true surrender. And that true surrender also is part of gratitude. And that gratitude is opening up the heart. And in the end, the whole idea is to be able to open your heart space so wide with the resonance so deep that you're able to encompass anything and everything, anyone and everyone.
Wow. Wow. Mic drop. That was awesome. I love that. Love it. Love it. We have one more input from Summer. She says, I love that about listening to your body and showing gratitude to let the body guide you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Well, I got to tell you, I have thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this talk, and I look forward to working with you again in the future somehow in some avenue, maybe even bringing you back out here. I want to ask everyone, please, if you have not said so already, let us know in the comments any of your takeaways. Let us know if you're watching live or on replay. And before we go, any last comments you'd like to add, Dr. Nintin, before I show your slide?
Nope.
Okay.
Everybody just stay inspired, stay well, right? Especially with this coronavirus situation, I hear everybody saying, stay safe, stay safe. Well, you know what? Build your immunity. Keep your immunity strong. Stop worrying about what everybody else is going to do. Stop worrying about what's on television. Stop worrying about, the vaccine is coming and all these kinds of fears, right? I tell patients when they tell me stay safe, I simply tell them stay well. Build your immunity. You're through good practices, staying in gratitude, doing the things that you love doing, healthy nutrition, plenty of water, get your rest, get some sleep, do your gratitude journaling if you have to, do whatever it is to stay well and stay inspired. And that's the thing. Your immunity will build if you stay inspired.
Yes.
If you, the more uninspired you are, you end up dropping your immunity, and so that's the big takeaway for 2020, right? Everybody's trying to, be protected and be safe. Don't know why we never did this all these years, right? For all the other flu and the chicken pox and the herpes and the measles, and why don't we do all this stuff for everything else?
Yeah. Yes. Oh my
But
gosh.
stay inspired, stay well.
Yes. Thank you. Janice says, please come back again. And Kat says, thank you, Cheryl, for having this pearl. Oh, wonderful. You have dropped so many words of wisdom on us today. I really, really appreciate you. I feel like we could have you on for hours and just come up with so many great golden nuggets. So thank you again. We definitely want to have you back out again.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I want to show how everyone can learn more about you. So everyone, again, this is Dr. Bhatnagar, and please go to his website. It's wheelsofthemind.com. And of course, I've mentioned this already, but one more time, let us know a takeaway. And also, on Wheels of the Mind, he has, if you go to the literature section tab, he has a free book that you can download. And Dr. Nintin, can you tell us the name of that book one more time?
Sure. Don't just survive, but learn how to thrive in a lockdown. Perspectives of the Intuitive Cardiologist. It was my attempt to write out a coronavirus to consciousness series.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And to everyone watching, we're going to put his contact information inside this group, and we'll do a few more takeaways and recaps from this conversation because it was awesome. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you again here in this group and at another time. And just a reminder to everyone, never ever forget that it's never too late to have your epic encore. See you guys. Bye.
Blessings, love and light, wisdom.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.